What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Existential Stoic Podcast. Quick fix number 35, reducing anger.
Ooh.
Because if you're a pirate or you're Tony the Tiger, sometimes you just get angry. And
He's
today
got
we're
a
going to give you,
grr.
we're going to give
Yeah.
you a few quick techniques for reducing anger. I'm Randy. That's my buddy, Danny. What's up, Danny?
What's up, Randy?
And so today we're going to talk about reducing anger. Do you ever get angry, Danny?
I found myself getting angry. I thought more so in sort of like early 30s, I think. And I think I've dealt with it a lot better now. Like I don't really get angry as much anymore. I think, there's a lot of things you can do that really do help. And it's like, what's the point?
True, true. And
Uh,
I also think that the more you recognize anger, the less angry you actually get, but the more you're able to feel it. Like I notice
yeah.
sometimes I'll be like completely furious and people will be like, "Wow, you handled that situation so well. Like you weren't angry at all." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Bah."
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's it too. It's like, it's you still get angry. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like dealing with it in the right way, right? In a healthy way and in a way where you are able to I think that's important, able to express your emotions without actually being an ass, right? And
Mhm.
being able to be, good in the situation.
Yeah. So that being said, we're each going to share three techniques or tips we have, quick tips to
Oh
quickly
yeah.
fix anger in your
Yeah.
life.
Once and for all.
So, yeah. So I'll go first. My first one I learned from The Power of Positive Thinking, Norman Vincent Peale's book. This, this first tip is whenever you're feeling angry, lay down. It's it's very, very hard to be angry when you're laying down. Because if you think about it, every time you're angry, you're like standing up, clenching your fists, all your muscles are tense.
Yeah.
And he talks about this story about, this guy was in a conversation with some people and he was getting heated, and then all of a sudden he like undid his tie, took off his jacket and laid down. And everybody's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And he's like, "Well, I just found myself getting angry and I noticed it's very hard to be angry when I lay down. So I'm just laying down."
Well,
So that's tip
I
number
really
one.
like that though, because it's also like the idea of just calming down, right? And I mean, I think and changing something in the situation. And I think those are both really important techniques, is calming yourself and changing something in the situation. And that's does both really effectively. It's
Mhm.
I like that. So my first one is kind of, I think goes along the same lines. It's breathing exercises. So taking deep, slow breaths when you recognize that you're angry, to kind of control your breathing and get control of yourself. And with that, also, if necessary, removing yourself from the situation. Just walk away. Like people forget they can do this, I think. And it's kind of funny. Like if you're angry, especially if it's in an office or even with your partner or something at home, you can just walk away instead of saying things you'll regret, instead of making a situation worse. And then you can actually think about it. So I think
Yeah.
breathing slow and, removing yourself are two very important things.
And that's a good one because like anger is an emotion that comes up, and like biologically it was useful to us at a time, but we're in so many situations nowadays where anger just has no use whatsoever. And so
Yeah.
by slowing down and by leaving that situation, it can change everything. Which brings me to my second one, which is
Oh,
go for a walk, preferably in
yeah.
nature. And this is huge because I've done this so many, like walks are literally magic. Like if there's a couple things
Yeah.
that's magic in the world, there's writing down things that you're grateful for, and there's going for walks in nature. There's literally like no better cures in life for anything. And when you're feeling angry, just going outside, because like nature is just a sink. It will just absorb that anger from you. And
Yeah.
and just getting your body in movement helps dissipate the anger too. So that's my second one.
Yeah, it's funny. The movement matters so much. I remember going for walks, a while ago when I was dealing with some stuff and doing sprints just to get that energy out, just to get moving, right. And it does, it works really well. It's amazing. And being out in nature just helps too. So I like that. My second one is ask yourself this question. When has anger made things better? When has it improved things? When has it made your life better? I think, we let ourselves get caught up in these emotions a lot. And a lot of times they're not beneficial to us. They don't help us. They don't solve our problems. I think it's an important thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, I love that one. I think that one's so good because it's like because you think about it and you're like, yeah, when has anger ever been helpful? And it's
Yeah.
like,
When the hell has it made anything better?
uh-huh, definitely never.
Never.
So my last one is try and find the cause for it, because when you recognizing the cause for it can be helpful, because you can do what we spoke about earlier, removing yourself from the situation. But then also we talked about how like anger is a biological response that was useful at one time. It's not useful anymore. So once you know the cause, being able to channel that anger to a useful purpose, because anger is actually a very, very good thing to use to actually change your situation. Like if you can harness that power, you can use it to change your situation, but you need to use it proactively instead of just reacting with anger.
I think that's so important too, what you said there about like channeling it, transforming it, redirecting it to something positive is actually like such an important way of learning how to positively express our emotions, right? Which is taking these irrational things, responses to the world, taking that energy, but then using it in a way that's productive, that's helpful to us rather than harmful. Instead of just reacting, we take that energy and work with it and do something, exercising our agency. It's a really good thing to do, I think. And that's how you really get to a point of being in control and balanced. I like that one a lot. That goes nicely too. My last one is I forget where I heard this, but it is actually very helpful. It's imagine if you're angry with another person, especially if it's somebody you're close to, imagine you are that person and do a little journal exercise where you try to imagine sort of their point of view and you try and do it honestly. And I think it's a really helpful tool because it's a really like sort of effective way of trying to see things from their perspective. Because a lot of times, especially when it's people we're close to, arguments are petty, our anger is sort of misdirected. It's about other things. And when you do this, it really helps you sort of identify that source and find out what's wrong. So I really like that one. Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's a great one too. And we actually talked about kind of the same thing for dealing with forgiveness and for like seeing things from another person's perspective. And I know for me, like just after we spoke about that and I sat down and I journaled about it, that was a very helpful exercise. So I think doing that with anger, because there's definitely anger wrapped around like forgiveness in those situations as well. So
totally.
So that's a great one. So guys,
awesome.
In a nutshell, there you have it. 3 quick fixes for reducing anger from each of us, from me, Randy, my buddy, Danny. Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to listen on the podcast, watch on the YouTube, and tell all your friends about it too. We'll catch you guys next time. All right. Have a good one.
Later, buddy.